Hey guys, this is Peter, and if you've been watching my channel, you know that I have T-Mobile Home Internet, and I've been very happy with it. I've managed to overcome every issue that I've come up with over the last 2 years, from poor signal to, time of use restrictions and slowdowns. We've covered port forwarding and carrier grade NAT and double NAT issues. We've solved them all. How did we solve that? We got rid of their lousy piece of hardware and we used our own. Now, people have said, wow, I've seen what this thing can do, Peter, and you have me sold. However, what are you going to do if T-Mobile ever freaks out and says, you got to use the piece of hardware that came with it? Well, actually, that's a good point. If it ever did happen, and I have it on good authority that it will never happen, but if it did happen where T-Mobile said I have to use this, guess what? This is a zero contract kind of thing. I would simply go over to T-Mobile for Business. T-Mobile for Business is also $40 a month. They have a $50 plan too. In fact, I'm going to give you an email address to the guy that I've been working with over there. Robin has been fantastic, and if you can't get the right story, he'll help you get it. So T-Mobile for Business, all that you need is a business identity. And I'm like, oh man, that kind of slows me down here. But there's a sole proprietorship is the most popular type of business. And whether you have a side gig, a side hustle, whether it's driving Uber or delivering DoorDash, you're a sole proprietor. You have expenses that go along with your income. So yeah, you need a sole proprietorship for that. It's the easiest type to set up. In fact, you can do the paperwork later and it costs nothing to do. You don't need an EIN number. You don't need to state a lot of stuff doing business as, even come up with names or logos. No, you can just use your social security number. Easy peasy, you just divert it around that. So now you can get T-Mobile for Business. It costs the same amount. And guess what? I took this SIM and without changing a darn thing, I jammed it up in there and it came to life because T-Mobile for Business allows bring your own device or BYOD. So, and that's the way I'd get it. I'd get it as a SIM only. Why? You think, well, I can get a free radio. But if you ever wanted to return it, they're going to say, oh, the radio was scratched, or the radio looked like it was someone smiled at it funny, and they want to charge you a restocking fee. Nope. You get a SIM, there is no restocking fee. Keep your hardware. Thank you. It's not that good. So now we got all that solved. Let me show you this. All right, this is the Elsys interface, and as you can see, I have a 99% connection. That's phenomenal. So this thing has a couple great features in it. One of them is easy install. That's a button on the bottom, and you can literally push it and it'll start beeping. Beep, 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 beep. And just like a metal detector, when the frequency gets really high, that means you're on top of gold. So that means lock it down. You're right on your signal. So there's another great feature here. Utilities, blind search. With or without a SIM, you can do a blind search. It tells me that my T-Mobile signal will be 99%, and it is. And my AT&T would be in the 98%. So they're both valid. Hey, there's another backup solution. This device is not money to the wind because you can use it on anything. Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T. Here, what is this poll? It's 99%. Oh, I'm kind of curious. Well, here's a tool that one of the engineers showed me. It's called mcc-mnc.net, and it allows you to paste in things like a poll number, which is a PLMN. And it tells me who owns it. Sprint owns that, which means it's part of T-Mobile now. And it puts out 1.9 gigahertz and 2.5 gigahertz. And, well, 850 is not one that we use for data, at least for home internet. So, you're wondering, how good is good? Well, I was getting decent scores before, but check this out. All right, well, we talked about time of use slowdowns, and yeah, that happens to everybody. In the middle of the night, I can get about 700 megabit, but I'm only getting 530 now, so yeah, I'm getting throttled like everyone else. But when you start up at 700, getting shut down to 500, it's not a big deal. And check out the up. My up is always awesome. This is pretty special. Look at that. I just hit 100. Ooh, 100 megabit. If you wanted to live stream, if you're a minister and you wanted to put for your congregation, you want to put the mass up. If you want to back up your drive to the internet, you should be backing up to the cloud. That's going to be like what? That'll be like 12 megabytes per second. That's out of control. This is an excellent piece of hardware. And when you buy it from here, when you buy it from Richard over at the Haven Technology, you're going to get direct access to him. He can make it work with anything. And if that ever gets shut down, don't worry about it. You can get the T-Mobile for Business. I'm going to put the guy that I've been talking to, I told him I was going to put his email address on this. And he said, go ahead. I'll be happy to point people the right direction. If you ever did want to have a side gig, hey, maybe it's going to be a YouTube channel. That's what I do. If you get one of these and review it, hey, I'll take your piece and we'll put it online and let other people see your channel. And guess what? You're a new YouTuber now. So now you got a side gig. Anyway, guys, hey, thanks so much for watching. This is one cool piece of hardware and one cool service. And there are many different ways to get it. And no, I can't be shut down. I'm using it exactly the way that they want me to. If you contact Robin, he'll sell you a SIM only, and you don't even need to take, that's the way I'd recommend it. Don't even take possession of their hardware, because if you ever had to return it, the restocking fees and all sorts of torture stuff, that's crappy hardware, and this is much, much better. This is the device you want to be having. It's outdoor. It has no signal loss. It is an antenna itself. This is 4x4 MIMO. Check it. Did I show you the scores on this? Let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so there's this page, and yeah, you can see that I have it in bridge mode. Bridge mode is the key to taking the IP address directly from T-Mobile and giving it to your router. My router is from, well, it's this one. It's the Orbi. This is made by Netgear. Netgear has some really good firmware. They have the DDNS features. They have the port forwarding features. And all of that works if I give them the IP address that I get from outside. Just like with a normal modem, that's exactly what I'm doing. This makes it all work. Turn it on DDNS. I make no IP. Watch for my IP address changes. I've solved the carrier grade NAT issue. And yeah, I can run however I want to. This thing is so great. This covers my whole house with this. This one from T-Mobile, yeah, that's a good little network if you have 2-bedroom house. But if you have a larger house, something like this covers my house so nicely that I get 300 megabit in the bathroom with the door closed. That's the way I want it. I don't want to have these dead spots in my house. This will get rid of it. And guess what? I'm using it the way that they want me to, and everything's all good. I don't have to pull any fancy tricks. If you need fancy tricks, you got Richard. But if you don't need fancy tricks, you just plug this up in there, and this is a wonderful solution for T-Mobile Business because I do have an outdoor antenna, and it's able to do just about anything. When you have a good signal, when you have good radio and some good firmware in there, the sky's the limit. You're going to get speeds like, well, be able to get speeds like this. I'm being throttled right now. It is 7 p.m. on a Thursday. Yeah, everyone's home watching Netflix. I can normally get 700, so I know what it's like to be throttled. Well, not really, because 500 is still pretty darn awesome. But even if you were getting 300, getting shut down to 200 is not a big deal. It's the people with the indoor modems that were getting 30, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, now I'm getting 5. That's where it's, or 15. That's just where it gets not really great. Or if you're getting 15, all of a sudden you're getting 6. That's not really great. But hey, if you could get a much better signal, getting throttled a little bit isn't not a big deal. Hey, that's an important point. People often write to me and go, I take out my iPhone and I stand on my roof and I got 700. How come with this thing that's supposed to be the cherry modem of all times, I only get 500? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. A, your iPhone or your Android phone, those are $1,000 pieces of hardware and they're subsidized. So yeah, those are great pieces of hardware. The other reason is that your priority is different. People know that you're not going to download 3 terabytes a month on your phone. It's not possible. But it is with home internet. So what they do is they put you in lower priority mode, which means at 3 o'clock in the morning when there's nobody there, I can get my true speed, which is about 720 megabit. But when there's other people on the network, I do get a bigger hit. Hey, check out this week. Well, I guess it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, there's going to be a fair right across from here. There's going to be 3,000 people on my pole. So, yeah, it'll be 6,000 people with phones. Everyone's going to have their phones out. I'm going to get throttled like there's no tomorrow. I'm going to measure it because, yeah, it's the school fair that's it's about 600 feet from my house. So it's going to be noisy. It's going to be crowded, and my internet's going to be throttled the most. But I bet I still get some good scores. Anyway, guys, hey, hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit like because it helps other people find it. And by all means, take a look down below. You can write to Richard. I'll put his email address. When you buy a product, you actually get his phone number. Or you can write to Robin. Robin has been a super guy. Robin is his American name. It's Ramin. He's been super, and he knows this stuff super well. Be nice to both of them, and thank you so much, guys. Have a good weekend.